Brazil is a country where you should definitely come or else. Just kidding, it's a big country in South America with lots of diverse people and culture. It's a major player on the world stage, but one of the questions that are usually asked is why its official language is Portuguese, not some other language like Spanish. First of all, let's look into Brazil's languages. As you can see, the official language of Brazil is Portuguese, specifically Brazilian Portuguese. Brazilian Portuguese is very much intelligible with Portuguese spoken in Portugal, with some differences. It's pretty much the language spoken by most of the people living there. This is also the main reason why Portuguese is one of the major languages of the world. It's not all Portuguese though, as Brazil is a massive country with lots of different peoples. Different languages such as German, Italian, Japanese, Polish, Russian, and many more are also spoken mostly by immigrants. There are also tons of indigenous languages that are spoken in the area. And of course, we have another language called Spanish. Spanish, while not the widespread language, is understood to various degrees by some, but not all, due to the similarities of both languages. In the border areas with Spanish-speaking countries, a systematic mixture of Spanish and Portuguese called Portuñol is usually spoken. However, in Brazil, even English is learned more compared to Spanish, since English is the international language. Sad French noises. However, one of the major questions is why is Portuguese spoken there instead of Spanish, which is spoken by most countries in South America. I said most, since it's actually not only Spanish, but French is also spoken in French Guiana, Dutch in Suriname, and English in Guyana. Well, we have a very simple answer. Except for Suriname, French Guiana, and Guyana, South America is colonized by both Portugal and Spain. Spain happens to colonize the western half, while Portugal colonizes what is now Brazil. But why it looked like this? Spain could have just taken Brazil for itself, right? Well, the truth is not so simple. A long time ago, Christopher Columbus landed in a place where he thought it was Asia, but it was really not. As the news of this discovery reached European powers, countries like Spain and Portugal were keen on establishing empires in the region because prestige and money. As Spain and Portugal were competitors, the Pope decided to draw a line in a map that looked like this, where the western half belongs to Spain and the eastern half belonged to Portugal, including non-Christian Asia and Africa. This is done in order to clear up confusion and prevent a war from both sides in the New World. This treaty is called the Treaty of Tordesillas, signed in 1494. The question is, why wasn't Portugal given more of the Americas? Well, Portugal is a maritime powerhouse, and its trade in Asia and Africa is deemed very, very profitable. Also, they didn't really know the value of the New World at that time, and they are yet to explore the riches. However, Portugal did get some foothold in Brazil, mainly because they didn't really want to give Spain all of the New World. In fact, Portugal's colony in the Americas wasn't really given the spotlight until the mid-16th century because of the lucrative trade with Asia. These allowed the other competitors, mostly Dutch and French, to establish their own colonies in Portuguese claimed areas without any regard for the Treaty of Tordesillas. As a response, Portugal tightened its grip on Brazil. By 1580, due to some succession crisis, Spain and Portugal were unified by the Spanish king, forming the Iberian Union. Even though it was a union, Portugal continued to control its colonies. This lasted until Portugal thought it was a bad idea, and so they fought a war and broke free. Eventually, the colony developed expanding further west deep into the Amazon, similar to today's borders. It became a slave colony, importing slaves from Africa to work and develop the colony. Also, in case you're wondering, Brazil got its name from Brazil wood, a highly exploitable product. When Napoleon happened and Peninsular War, the Portuguese royal family fled to Brazil. They upgraded Brazil from a colony to its own fashionable kingdom within Portugal. When King João VI of Portugal returned to, Portugal, his elder son Pedro was left as the regent for Brazil. Pedro, along with many pro-independence Brazilians, used this opportunity to fight Portugal and eventually gain its independence. They succeeded and proclaimed the Empire of Brazil with himself as emperor. Brazil is now a fully independent country, adopting Portuguese as its official language. This also coincided with the Spanish colonies in the west fighting Spain and subsequently declaring their independence, forming their own nations. They weren't united though, because Spain had ruled them as separate viceroyalties, and these nations formed with different identities and sometimes even cultures. In fact, one issue is Brazil's incorporation of what is now Uruguay, which was previously ruled by the Spanish Empire, and they wanted to join the United Provinces of Rio de la Plata, nowadays Argentina. Hence, Cisplatin War, Britain got involved and Uruguay became an independent nation instead. Afterward, Brazil started to integrate its massive and diverse territory for the next 2 centuries, making it fundamentally Brazilian, with Portuguese as its national language. And that is why Brazil's population speaks overwhelmingly Portuguese. Even though Brazil is only one nation, Portuguese speakers in the country have reached over 200 million, while Spanish speakers in Latin America reach over 400 million. You can see why Portuguese is a big deal, not just Spanish. However, Spanish and Portuguese are quite similar but obviously not the same. Portuguese speakers find Spanish easier and more intelligible as compared to learning French and Italian. Will Brazil continue to speak Portuguese in the future? Most likely. That's why if you want to experience the vastness of Brazil or to create a chant to support your favorite Brazilian football player, learn Brazilian Portuguese. Thank you for watching and please subscribe for more country neighbors.
You're going to Brazil.